John, you just mentioned Syria a bit ago, and that leads me to ask you about your very powerful opinion editorial in the Washington Post entitled "Avoiding Another Syria." Now, you warned that notwithstanding the many problems besetting the world's newest nation, South Sudan, it's Sudan whose government, you say, quote, is responsible for more death and destruction than all of its neighboring Middle Eastern and North African dictatorships combined, which is a vexing issue that must be addressed, lest, you say, it goes the way of Syria. What led you to make this dire prediction?
Well, we've been talking up till now about the relationship between Sudan and South Sudan, but Sudan itself has a huge problem. There are multiple regions of the country that are at war with the central government. Darfur is still inflamed. The conflict has increased, in fact, over the last few months. And then the South Kordofan and Blue Nile, which is the south center part of Sudan, and then the eastern part is ready to go again. And they've had a history of conflict with the center. You have these conflicts which are tearing up civilian populations at a rate higher than almost any other war in the world, and displacing. We just saw the UN came out with a figure recently of about 680,000 people displaced, newly displaced by the conflict within Sudan. And then you have, at the same time, internal protests, a protest movement unfolding over the last few months since June, which is focused on democratic change in Sudan. Some opening up of this autocratic regime like we've seen happen in other countries in North Africa and the Middle East over the last year and a half. And so I feel that given the history, that this regime in Khartoum came to power in a military coup 23 years ago. Now 2.5, maybe 2.75 million people have died in wars related to whether it's the south or these other internal Sudanese regions as a result of war in those regions. People from whether they're in the periphery and supporting the rebellions or whether they're in the center and supporting the protest movements want some kind of change. They're demanding some kind of change. So what we're trying to say is, okay, at least the United States and other countries who care about what is happening in Sudan should listen to what people are saying and try to figure out how we can help. And I'm talking about sending in U.S. military. I'm not talking about overthrowing the government. I'm talking about helping the Sudanese people figure out their own future. They want a democratic transition. We should figure out ways to be supportive of that and get other countries around the world to help in supporting that democratic transition, just like we've tried to do with other countries in that region.